Hello everybody, I wanted to do a quick TBR video for Peace Talks. So Peace Talks is a 48-hour readathon event taking place within the Realmathon readathon. So if you've been like, I need to find some short books that I can read for this, it's not too late. You can definitely check out some of the books that I'm going to be reading. I found all of the audiobooks for these. Between Hoopla, Libby, and Overdrive. So I'm able to like read those editions all for free, which is cool because you also get a certain amount of points when you get it for free. And technically, though I own the physical copies of these books, I will be listening to the audio, which I did not purchase, so I can still get those points. Haha, loopholes. But anyway, I know that I'm going to be audio heavy. I'm not really going to have time to do any physical reading, and if I do, I'm going to keep it to graphic novels because they're short and I can do them at like bedtime or something when I'm not going to be listening to audiobooks. The reason why I need to keep it all audiobooks for this 48 hours is one, because that's how I'm going to complete the biggest amount of books, because I can bump that sucker up to like 2.5 or even 3 speed depending on the original narration. But I have boxes in my room now that were in the garage that I need to sort through, put in their proper spots, and organize this office. And I've got boxes in the rest of the house too, because my ADD just does not fare well when it comes to executive functioning, like unpacking a garage. So I've had family come over and they've been helping me, and we're going to start yard selling over this weekend too. So my weekend is already going to be pretty packed, but today it's raining and they had a couple other things they needed to do, so I'm on my own. So I plan on doing a good chunk of my reading today. You can fool around with the time zones. So technically, for me, it starts at 6 p.m. CST, but if I do EST, that would give me an extra hour head start. So basically, whatever time zone I pick, it has to be that 48-hour window, and it has to be between the 14th and the 16th where it's starting and ending. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll actually start it early or not because I'm still going to eat lunch, and I have another book that I can listen to in between times. So I don't know. I might just start with everybody else on the right time. But if I want to switch it because I'm eager, I can. It's part of the rules. You can switch the time zone. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be reading during the next 48 hours. First up, I have a graphic novel. This is like 130 something pages, so it should be pretty quick. Sins of the Black Flamingo, and this is like an LGBT graphic novel. I don't really know much about it. I do have it as an ARC, and it expires in a couple of days, so this is the last one of the 4 graphic novel ARCs that expired that I have. I also have some graphic novels that were where you could download it immediately off of Edelweiss. So if I do any more physical reading, it will be graphic novels that I've had the automatic download for that I just want to read to keep my ratios good. But so far, that's the only one I'm committing to because it has a deadline. Then we have the books that I'm going to be listening to the audios for. And it also includes one full series that I've been meaning to read forever and should be able to knock out during this 48 hours. I am being very ambitious. But remember, I'm listening to audiobooks, so I can bump it up to like 2.5 or even 3 speed if I want to. So we have Tears of a Tiger. And this is a reread for me. I will say big trigger warnings for suicide ideation, as well as the traumatic death of a friend. And this also has a lot to do with mental health, and the character gets to see a therapist several times throughout the book. So if you're wanting to read something to get those points for the mental health, this would be great for that. Then I have the second book in the series, which is Forged by Fire. And I don't know anything about this one. I think it's just following another one of the friend group that was there the night their other friend like died in front of them by a car crash. It happens in the very beginning of the book. That's not a spoiler. But anyway, yes. So this one and this one are both 4-hour long audiobooks. which means I'm going to finish it in less than 2 hours each. So I'm like, I will finish those today before I go to bed. I'll have 2 books out of the way. Then we move on to the next book, which is going to be The Distance Between Us by Casey West. I don't know anything about this book either. This one is 7-hour-long audiobook, so like 3.5 minimum, or 3.5 max for the amount of time that it'll take me to finish it. So like we're at like 7.5 hours total for the books that I have in the stack so far at a max. I might finish them sooner. But anyway, there's that one. This one's romance. The other 2 are contemporary. They don't really have romance. They have like romance elements, but they're not romance books. Then I have The One Safe Place, which is a dystopian. And this one is 7.5-hour audiobook. So again, like 3.75 hours to finish this one. So I should definitely make it through that. I think those 4 I'll definitely be able to finish within the 48 hours. Will I be able to finish the rest of these in the stack? It depends. It depends on if we do the yard sale this weekend or not. And that depends a lot on rain. So who knows. But then I have Darkness Before Dawn, which is the third book in the Hazelwood High trilogy, and so it's the final one as well. This one is an 8-hour long, so again, maximum 4 hours to listen to on the audiobook. And this one, I believe, is the girlfriend of the guy from Tears of a Tiger. So I'm excited to get to see her book. This one, I think, has some trigger warnings for like sexual harassment and stuff. I don't know how far it goes. For some reason, I'm thinking that that's what this book has to do with, but I'm honestly not completely sure. It just says, but people and intentions aren't always what they seem. When their relationship takes a dangerous turn, will it be more than Keisha can handle? So it's either some sort of abusive relationship or it's like an assault type situation. I don't know. But yeah, so that one, we'll finish it off. I would really want to finish that during this readathon. Then we have a book that I've set up a buddy read for with me and one other person. But if y'all are watching, you want to buddy read it with us too, let me know. She's going to start reading it after Peace Talks, but if I get to it, I will wipe it out during Peace Talks because it is fairly short. So this one is an 8-hour long audio book, and it is The Girl in the Mirror, which I believe is a thriller. And it came out in October 2020. So it's a fairly recent release. It says twin sisters, identical on the outside, dangerously different on the inside. So this will get me some team points because I'm sure it's got like a spooky or thriller element, and I am on Team Sanctum. So that'll be cool to get some team points with this one. And then the last one that I have, because I know I'm not going to be able to do more than this last one, I have Caraval. My goodness, dropping stuff. I have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Now, technically, I already listened to the first 30 minutes of this audiobook, but I'll do the same thing that I'm going to do with Sins of the Black Flamingo. And if I do wind up doing this and think that I can actually finish it during the readathon, I will just reread the portion that I already read so that it will count. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to bump that speed up to 4 because I've already listened to those chapters. I don't have to fully comprehend what it says. But I will have read it. So, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about all of these books. All I did was I just kind of looked at my shelf. I found the ones that looked kind of short. And I looked up to see if they had an audiobook, and if they did, I went ahead and added it. So that's how I picked out my TBR. So it wasn't very strategic, other than just book length was my strategy to read more books. Because even if they're not worth a lot of points, they're worth more points than me reading big books. Because of all of the prompt stuff will add up. So here are the books that I'm going to try to read in 48 hours. If I'm successful, you will know soon when I do like a recent reads video. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But we are talking about 8 books, because 7 here, and then the graphic novel. So 8 books that I'm trying to read in 48 hours. I don't know if that's possible. It definitely would be if I didn't have people coming over here tomorrow and possibly Sunday. It would definitely be possible. But because I do, I don't know. So my goal that I would consider to be a huge win is if I read all of the books through this one, Darkness Before Dawn, because then I could finish the trilogy here. I don't have to read it in this order, so technically I could move it up to be the 3rd book. But I'm like, this is how quick I can get through, so strategically it makes sense to read them in this order as well. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I still think it would be a very good job if I made it through the first 4, or even the first 3, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, if you are doing the Peace Talks portion of the readathon, let me know what you're going to be reading down below and what team you're on. I'm really curious what teams everyone is on. I feel like Sanctum is one of the small teams, so I don't know that many of y'all chose it, but maybe you did. Maybe you did. I don't know. So as far as whether I'm going to be using these for positive points or negative attack points towards other teams, I am going after Ilma. I'm going after Ilma because they attacked my team the most. So I'm going after them. But also because everyone knows that they attacked us the most. There might be a lot of people attacking them, so then I might actually go for Cyrus and attack them with some of these books. So I've already attacked Ilma with 2 books, so I'll probably attack them 2 more times, and then I'm probably going to start coming for the romance team, because I don't think Enya's going to win, because, 1, I was right in that with the first week, they're losing. So I knew that was going to happen because they're a large team, which means they're going to average low because they're going to have a lot of people that are not as voracious readers simply because of the mass of people that are on that team. The big teams usually lose because people just cannot read at the same amount. So smaller teams tend to sometimes have some of the more voracious readers who read like 20, 30 books a month. So... And they're seen as the underdog because of the few amount of members. And so people don't attack them as much as like the fantasy group. And so they wind up coming out on top. That's how the small teeny weeny groups like middle grades in past events that no one thought would won because they were underestimated. So this year I was like, I am joining Sanctum because I feel like they're the underdog that everyone is going to underestimate and we're going to win. I think our biggest competition is the romance team, because romance members are ferocious readers. They are well readers. They read a crap ton of books. The books tend to be less than 400 pages, so they should be able to whip through them pretty fast. And also, a lot of them are getting those extra 10 points for KU reads, and the majority of KU books are romance. Like indie romance, so they're getting a lot of extra points by reading indie romance. So honestly, I think they are probably the ones that I should attack and not Ilma. I might have just changed my strategy. I'm coming for you, Cyrus, because you are the threat. I feel like Cyrus is the threat. If my team doesn't win, I'm betting on Cyrus. But anyway, so yeah. What I do to pick what I'm going to do for each individual book, whether it will be an attack book or a book that will give more points to my team, is literally I do a comparison. So I do both methods and I see which one has the more points. So for like the last 2 books that I did, there was more points for the negative prompts than there was positive prompts that my book met. So I attacked. But if I get more positive points from a read, then I give that to my team. But there are also a lot of people on my team who are not attacking anyone, which I think I understand why people don't want to do that, but at the same time, that's not strategic. I feel like my way is strategic. Pick whatever best goes. That's going to be the best for your team, is picking the highest thing. Or doing like an every other strategy. I don't know. But again, we do need people to give positive points. So I don't know. Maybe it'll work out that a lot of people are not attacking, but I want to attack. I want to attack. So yeah, the cool thing is that you can do both. You can attack and you can do negative points, because if your books are giving you, say, like 10 bonus points for being read during the 48-hour readathon portion of the event, you're going to give 10 positive points to your team just with that. And then you can attack with your prompts. So it'll be cool. If I read all of these books, that's going to be a lot of points for my team just by reading it in these 48 hours. And then I'm hoping that some of these will wind up being attack books, but I won't know until I finish them and get to do my little list comparison, and I will go with whichever one is the best. I can kind of show you what that looks like here. So like with this last book, I put, what are the positive prompts it meets? What are the negative prompts it meets? And then I just add them. So this one like barely won. That was attack points. So I attacked. But anyway. And none of these books, other than Scholastic's, look like they're big publisher. So I might be getting some indie bonus points as well, but I'll have to look up these publishers. Since this readathon is counting indie as any publisher that is not the top 5. Okay, so like this one looks like it's an imprint of Simon & Schuster. So Anthem Books is not indie. But like if Anthem Books was the parent company, then it would be indie, because it wouldn't be one of the top 5. Anyway, that is all I have for you for this video. Again, let me know what you're doing, what your strategies are, what team you're on, all that good stuff down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!